Na 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 na. As children, I remember na 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 na. That's sort of criticizing and taunting, as children would do. Well, today we're going to be talking about this silly sort of judgmental Jerry, critical Christine, and Hector Projector. Welcome to show 41 of Looking Upon the Heart. This is the heart disposition. We're getting to the last of these dispositional styles and states. And here's yet another character state and personality style which any of us may morph into. Being judgmental, critical, or putting others down, blaming them, accusing them of things which we may ourselves have at least partially experienced doing. These three are really the same with different names. It is so essential in understanding this heart morphology theory that I'm proposing that we all have all. We are no different from these characters because we can all become finger pointers. The goal of understanding this theory is to become humble. We have common need to have grace, which is unearned favor toward ourselves and others, non-judgment. We need to reduce the frequency of this tendency within us. It's so easy to turn on the news and criticize, or look down the street, see the people breaking the law or acting unbecomingly. But we ourselves sometimes have done the same thing. Matthew chapter 7 starts off with, "Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you." When you're pointing the finger, three fingers are pointing back. We're going to be judged by the way that we go about judging others. Hopefully, we don't judge at all. These three character states are different names for the same sort of personality style of criticalness and finger pointing. Judgmental Jerry, critical Christine, and Hector Projector are unaware. They are being hypocritical, pointing out what others are doing wrong when they themselves sometimes are practicing the very same thing. When judging others, they don't realize they are actually talking about themselves. Like in Romans 2, 1 and 5, it says, "Therefore, you are inexcusable, O man, whoever you are who judge. For in whatever you judge another, you condemn yourself. For you who judge practice the same things, but in accordance with your hardness and your impenitent heart." Impenitent, not ashamed heart. "You are treasuring up for yourself wrath in the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of God." We need to realize we're given grace right now, and we're not judged at all by God. He gives us till we breathe our last breath before there's any judgment whatsoever. He just gives us constant grace, love, and acceptance of us just the way we are. Making judgments of others is hypocritical, and hypocrisy is foolish. Well, hypocrisy entails playing the blame game. The blame game is always hypocritical. We claim to know what not to do, and yet we practice it ourselves, especially by being unloving and putting people down, name calling, bagging on people, labeling and mislabeling people as a this or a that. Judgmental Jerry, he ridicules everything so that it deflects the focus away from him. And blame is projected like a movie projector onto others. That's why we call it Hector Projector. He doesn't want to own his own stuff. He puts it on others. It's not me, it's you. Matthew 7:5 says, "Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the splinter from your brother's eye." We've got a big something in our life that needs to be removed. And we're worried about somebody's little thing that they have in their life. Road rage is a hypocritical thing, because Jerry, he makes tons of mistakes on the road and off the road all the time, and so shouldn't judge others, but he always does, ignoring his own terrible driving and faults in any way and wanting to put the blame and the finger pointing on others. I'm very concerned as a Christian about the judgmental church. Probably the biggest turnoff that non-believers have about Christianity, besides maybe it seeming like a greedy, grubbing business, controlling the masses, but really that's not so. But the judgmental church, being judgmental, is a common sin that people see, even in many church communities. This will annihilate the spiritual growth of any church, its members, and any disciple making going on there. It is a huge stumbling block, especially when new people enter the church or are just beginning to believe what the Word says, and they are turned away in their heart when they hear judgment, and they abstain from seeking God and fellowship. They see from Christians a holier-than-thou attitude, from which there seems to be a condescending, which means looking down, outlook, a judgmental attitude, and perhaps a condemning tongue. Ooh, you're doing that? That's a sin. You're going to go to hell. This judgment must not take place. This book and these videos is about trying to develop a modern evangelism that is effective in meeting the needs of people without such judgment. Romans 14 says, "So then each of us shall give an account of himself to God. Therefore, do not judge one another anymore, but rather resolve this, not to put a stumbling block or a cause to fall in your brother's way." A stumbling block is like if you turned out the lights and put a table in the middle of the room when you had a guest over and they fall right over it. Why would you want to do that? It's such a stumbling block when people say, "Oh, did you hear what they did? They're going to hell for that." You know, or, "Ooh, well, you didn't tell the truth." Whatever is, "Ooh, I think they might be sleeping together." You know, whatever the case may be, it's a stench of what we call legalism and not grace. So these stumbling blocks that we put need to be removed by non-judgment in the church. Mark 9:42 says, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea." That's nonviolent Jesus, but when it comes right down to it, he hates to see people that are new in believing are like children, and you cause them to stumble, turn away. It ruins their whole attitude. So many people have turned away from God because of the people that are supposed to represent Him. Christians, do not judge. So there's a lot of negativity and criticism in these personality styles and character states of judgmental Jerry and critical Christine. They so effortlessly identify something critical and to be negative about, have a negative attitude of condemnation, and doesn't really realize we all have dysfunction and sin at one time or another. So to some degree or another, we're all falling short of the glory of God. There is no righteous, no, not one. No one is free from sin, foolishness, or dysfunction. We morph in and out in this theory of heart morphology that I'm explaining. We're all going in and out of the good and bad. Each moment we have choices to make. So when you are pointing the finger, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. We need to stop and realize, take ownership. It's very hypocritical when Hector Projector criticizes, micromanages, nitpicks on people's flaws and shortcomings, And he has these same sort of problems. Hector, Projector, critical Christine, blinded to the fact that she has no room to judge anyone, especially when she throws stones, but lives in a glass house, as we say. So, in general, judge not. Luke 6 says, judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. This forgiveness, non-judgment, is a charity that we need to give. The more we give, it'll be given back to us. Destructive criticisms and slander and gossip and insensitivity will all backfire. So beware not to morph into this personality style. Psalms 101 verse 2 says, whoever secretly slanders his neighbor, him I will destroy. The one who has a haughty look and a proud heart, him I will not endure. Remember Arrogant Arnold in one of our earlier shows? Thinks he's better than everybody else. Usually Judgmental Jerry does too. Well, God is the judge, but even he withholds judgment toward all of us until we breathe our last and the judgment day has come. So I encourage you all to just be full of grace, recognizing that judgment is a waste of time. We need to only say such a thing out of our mouth that's good for the building up of one another. Well, that's it for today. And I look forward to seeing you next time when we'll be talking about Vengeful Victor, more kind of evil stuff. So I'm going to play my theme song, and we'll see you next time. This is Heart Talk is the way up. Heart Talk is the way up, looking upon the heart. Bye for now, and judge not. I know you won't. Love one another. Peace out.